constantly varied coaching means that you need to vary your class style just as much as the workout changes, the teaching style changes. Everything should be different all the time, and without the knowledge of how to be varied, we tend to just be the same all the time, and everything's just follow the same structure and get into autopilot. Whereas when we have all these extra options, we can then start to decide, oh, I haven't done this option in a while, I'll use this today. So it just gives us more ammo to be more interesting and unique with our classes, and yeah, make them more interesting. So let's have a look at it. Vary the class style. Why vary it? Types of class styles, how to choose it, and then homework. Why vary the class style? Some workouts just suit different styles. So like, you could have a workout like a 1 rep max clean day. Like there's a specific style of class that you should do that probably suits that workout best. Or you have Fran, and there's a specific style of class that you're going to use and teach to get ready for Fran. And then you might have a 30-minute EMOM. Like that's a different workout again. So then you might vary the style to suit it. Okay, so keep your classes fresh and new every time. Classes are less predictable. When they're less predictable, athletes won't want to miss any class because they don't know what they're going to get. So regardless of what the workout is, like the classes aren't just about the workouts. How you get to the workout is really important. So regardless of what the workout is, if you are always making your classes interesting, unique, different, and people are just like, oh, well, what's coming today? I don't know what he's going to show us. All right, we're doing planks, but what way is he going to teach the plank today? This is going to be class. Like, if you start to do that over and over and over again, your athletes are going to want to train every single day, no matter what the workout is, because the class is interesting. Like, a lot of us will look at the I don't know, like you might have an app and the workouts might be displayed on the app, and you look at the workouts and you'll be like, which ones will I choose this week? And you're basing your training off the workouts that you like. But what about if the workouts didn't matter and the class was the thing? And every single class, the full hour was the training. It didn't matter what the workout was. Like that, obviously the workout makes it more interesting and makes it a little bit better, and we go to the class for the workout. But what about the build up before that? What about the general specific warm up? What about the style, the format? All that stuff can make it more interesting as well. So yeah, keep your athletes guessing, keep them wanting to come back for more by giving them different things all the time. Types of class styles. There are more. There's probably a lot more than what I'm putting up here, but these are the main ones that I would use all the time, and yeah, I'm going to show you how to use them, and then you can go and start practicing. So layering, commanding, practice, crossover, focus, and there's a couple of more at the end then that I just briefly explain. Layering. So layering is a class style whereby you layer the specific warm-up as a whole class. So you layer the specific warm-up as a whole class. Okay? With this type of, now don't get it confused with layering with focus points. You're going to layer with focus points within the layering style, okay? With this type of class, you follow the structure of the workout and layer the progressions in step by step. So you take in layering with focus points, you take in progressions, how to coach them, and then you build that into a full specific warm-up. I find the structure works best on lower skill days. It works best on lower skill days because it makes it a little bit more interesting. It takes a little bit longer, and it gives the athletes more work to do before the workout starts, okay? Follow this framework to plan a layered class. So here's the framework. Plan a general warm-up first to get the body prepared for movements in the workout. Then break out each movement into 3 or 4 progressional layers. Each movement at each layer should have a specific focus point, like covered in the layering with focus points module. And then set a work period for each layer. Finish the specific warm-up with a workout primer, and then start the workout. So let's look at an example. This is going to make it a little bit clearer for you. You'll see it in action, and then you can start to figure out how you can do it then from there. Plan a general warm-up first to get the body prepared. Sorry, this is the framework again. Exactly the same thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to have that in there twice. My bad. All right, so here we go. The workout is 3 rounds of time, 30 goblet squats, 15 burpee box jumps, 90 double unders. So not the most technical workout, not the most exciting with the goblet squats and burpee box jumps. Double under is obviously the skill, but we're going to layer it up in 3 layers. As you can see, general warm-up, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and then a primer. So with the general warm-up, my aim is to get the body moving so that we can move into the specific warm-up ready. So I'm getting the hips ready, we're getting the kettlebell hold position ready, and we're getting the squat. Yeah, sorry, the hips in the squat, and we're getting prepared for box jumps as well. All right, so the AMRAP 3 with a partner. Partner 1 does 4 active Spider-Man. Partner 2 does a kettlebell hold, so just hold the kettlebell. And then they switch every 4 reps. So every time somebody, the one that Ali does the 4 active Spider-Man, they switch, and they switch, and they switch. And they should switch probably like 4 or 5 times in the 3 minutes. Okay? Then straight after that, you're going into AMRAP 3 with a partner again, same idea, except active Samson now, and then kettlebell squat holds. So you're going to sit in the bottom of a squat holding the kettlebell, and what you're trying to do there is you're going to tell them how to hold the kettlebell, where it is, and then the bottom of the squat, you want the elbows in, knees out. All right, so you're giving them something to think about as they move through that. So that's a general warm up. From there, they should be ready to go into some specific stuff. Okay, so the first layer. So the first layer, if you think about the progressive layers, you want to get to a point where they're doing the movements for the workout, the box squat, the goblet squats, the burpee box jumps, the double unders by the end of the 3 layers or 4 layers, whatever you're choosing, right? So if I want to get to there, how do I get there? I'm going to take it back 2 or 3 steps. So the first step is an air squat. The burpee box jump is going to be jump down, step up burpee, so just the burpee section of it. And then the rope is going to be low singles, all right? Now, remember I said layering with focus points, so you should give focus points here as well. I just didn't include the focus points on this, but with the air squat, it could be like a balanced foot. With the jump down, step up burpees, it could be to get the stepping foot as close to the hands as possible. And then with the low singles, I remember this from this class, I did circle whip. So it was circle with the hand, whip the floor, circle with the hand, whip the floor. So I was trying to get that motion for the double unders as we go into circle whip, circle whip, circle whip, circle whip. Okay. So 20 seconds is the prescribed work, 20 seconds of work on each, and then 3 rounds. So we do 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds, that's a minute, and you're back into the top one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 3 minutes of work, air squats, step down burpees, and low singles. It's non-stop. Their rest will be their transition between movements. Okay. Once I've done that, then I go and explain the next step. So that's going to take 3 minutes to do. It's probably going to take me, I don't know, like 90 seconds to explain, 60 to 90 seconds to explain air squat, jump down, step up burpees with the focus points and the low singles. Then we're going to go into another 90 seconds of explanation, and then another 3 minutes of work of, now we're going into goblet squats, except we're going light kettlebell. Then we're going into box jumps. So jump on the box, step down, and then we're going into high singles. So you see we've progressed on each one of these, the air squat, the jump down, step down burpees, and the low singles to get closer to the workout movements. So now we're doing goblet squats, we're doing box jumps, and we're doing high singles, which is getting us primed for double unders. Okay. Layering with focus points on this. So goblet squat light. So we want to bring in the kettlebell hold from the warm. So the hand position is set. And then we want to bring in the air squat. So I think it was balanced foot, I said previously. So balanced foot. And then I'm probably going to add another one because I've already done them 2 layers. So I'm just going to add another one. And it's probably going to be like knees out. I don't know. Something like that, right? Knees out. Oh no, sorry, knees outside, the elbows at the bottom. Let's say it's staying as upright as you can. Okay, that's a focus point. Then box jump, step down. It's jump, land 2 feet fully on the box, and then the step down is a step back away from the box a good distance as far as you can. High single, same single whip. I'm going to carry that focus point through like what we covered in performance points, because that's going to be your performance point today. Okay, that's layer 2. And then we move on to layer 3, and layer 3 is where we get into the workout movements. So we've got the goblet squat, the workout weight, we got the burpee box jumps. We're combining layer 1 and layer 2 on the burpee and the box jump, and then we got double unders by getting the circle whip and the high jump. So now we're going to go double unders. So we go layer 3, same thing again. All right, then we're going into a workout primer, and the workout primer is just a little bit more specific to the workout reps. So it's a fifth of the reps or something like that. So it's 2 rounds of 6 goblet squats, 3 burpee box jumps, 18 double unders. It's just to give them a feel of the workout specific movements with the specific rep scheme, and then moving through into specific rounds. And it's just a little bit of extra work if you have the time, just to get them ready to go. The intensity here is not very high for this workout. It's more of a consistent, smooth pace. So I'm not worried about burning them out, because now they've done like an hour of fitness and they should be feeling pretty good to go into the workout. All right, nothing too strenuous or taxing. So that's a layering class. I have another example, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I don't have the workout. Oh man. But the workout is box jumps, burpees, and deadlifts. Yeah, so it's weighted box step overs. It is deadlifts, and it is burpee over the bar. Okay, so let's have a look at the layers. So for the weighted box step ups, it's weighted box step overs, my bad. Sorry, weighted box step overs. So box step up first, push from both legs. All right, so push from both legs to get up on the box. A box step over, straight over, turn on the floor. So that's getting the box step over covered. And then box jump full for focus. I don't know why I've got box jumps in there, because the workout is weighted box step overs. But anyway, the deadlift, we're going good mornings with a barbell. Then we're going RDL with a barbell. And then we're going deadlifts with a barbell. And then on the burpee over bar, we're going barbell hops, push up to the knees, then plank. And then hands down, feet in and out. Pulling your feet under the body. So you got the 3 layers there. We're going to work 2 rounds on each one, 20 seconds on each. So that's 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here. And you can see I've factored in 4 minutes, 4 minutes, and 4 minutes. So that gives me time to explain it, them to go and do it, and then whatever extra on top of that, all right? So you can see that them 3 rounds are going to take from 5 to 17 minutes. It's 12 minutes, and they should be well primed and ready to go. But then we still have, I got performance points here. So box jumps lands high. Burpee is chest touch and go. Load the bar. Deadlifts is stay strong. So obviously I coach what stay strong means. And then into step overs, continuous movement, up, over, turn, go. Then load up the step overs. Build to work your weight on the deadlift. Do a dry run. The reps game 5, 4, 3, 4, 5. And then we're into the WOD. Okay, so I can't remember what the workout is here. Sorry, I apologize that I haven't got the workout on the screen. It makes it a little bit more difficult to follow, but you can see the idea here. There's 3 progressional layers, and I'm layering them up step by step, and I'm giving them some work to do, sustained work to do, so they're always working and moving, and they're getting used to going from movement to movement. All right, so it's just another example of how you might do a layering class. So I've got layering first, and then I'm adding on performance points to get specifically primed, and then I'm into the workout. Okay. All right, commanding style. This is where you control the class from start to finish. Educational style teaching are great on these days, so make sure you've watched the educational style training video to understand what educational style teaching is, and then you can go and use it in a commanding style class. Use static positions a lot more with this style, so we can always get them in static positions, and we're more of, all right, everyone, we're looking for this setup position of a clean. All right, one day, this is what a setup position looks like. All right, everybody set up, and then they're in the setup, and you're having a look as they're in the static position. And then stand, reset, let's go. Stand, reset, cool. All right, let's go. So it's just more static positions in this style. Grouped focus points or labels are also great in these days. So that was covered in Get Focused lesson 6. So if you go back to training video 6, you will see the focus points and labels. They're good for the commanding style teaching. And I find the structure works best on lifting days. So if you're doing like as I mentioned there a second ago, the clean, the more technical ollie lifting days, particularly great high skill lifting like clean and jerks and snatches is really good. And it's great for seeing and correcting as well. So you're a bit more commanding. We covered it in cueing the specific warm-up as well. So this is just how to build out the class. So I have an example. Here's the workout, EMOM 50 and 1 squat clean. So the first thing, I've already covered a general warm-up. So the general warm-up is not included in this. And then I'm getting into more specific stuff. So where I get a bit educational and a bit commanding on the clean itself. So the label here, which we've created before, which is in Get Focused training video. I think it was training video 6. I can't remember exactly. But define catch, strong, stable catch is the thing. I want to get educational with it. So that means, educational means I'm calling the people in. I'm going to show them all the different positions. I'm going to tell them why it's important. And I'm going to say that this is the thing that we're looking to focus on today. We're going feet first. The feet, they move and they're balanced. So when we move, they don't go on their toes. We want to be, the cues have got narrow, wider heels down. So they're the cues that we're going to use when we're moving the feet. Then it's knees out. We want to knee out more or whatever. And then we want hips back and down, back more, down more. So hips, feet, knees, and hips. That's the catch position that we're focused on today. I'm not worried about the front rack, as you've noticed. So it's just defining what I want the catch position to be today. And the next day I do catch, it could be elbows high, strong midline. Right, so different ways to coach the same thing. And once I have this stable, strong catch position defined through the educational coaching, then I can get into the commanding style. And this is where we get a little bit more specific with then lifting the barbell. So I'm going to go barbell, high hang clean. We're going high hang clean, and we're going to pause in the catch position. Everybody set, lower to the high hang, and clean. All right, then they've paused, and this is where you're commanding the room because you've told them when to go, you've told them where to stop, and now you're going to cue. And then you say stand, reset, all right, back down to the high hang position, and clean, bang, and then they go and pause, and then you can go and check positions. So the idea here is that you are really, really hammering home the strong, stable catch, but you're commanding them at the start position, the catch position, the finish position, and you're going to talk them through the whole thing so you can see and correct a lot better. All right. Then you're going to move the barbell hang clean as above. So instead of high hang clean, we're going to the hang clean. So high hang for me is pockets, hang is above the knees. So that's where we're going to go here. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm looking for strong, stable catch, except the start position changes. Still the same thing, commanding the calls. Go, reset, go, reset, go, reset, cueing in the catch. Deadly. Then we're going to go add 5s and 10s, and then we go from the floor. Same thing again. And then because we've gone to the floor, I'm going to add in an extra educational point, and I'm going to go set up. I'm going to cover the setup position. I want shoulders slightly in front of the bar. I want elbows turned out, not back. Elbows turned out and shoulders pulled back. And then eyes and chest forward. So always looking up, not looking down to the ground. So I'm going to cue that setup position. And then I'm going to go back to the commanding style where I'm saying, all right, everyone's set up. So now I'm looking to see if they're in their setup. Then I'm going to say clean, pausing the catch and checking to see if they've got a strong, stable catch. Now what I'm looking for as we go through the workout is the setup good for that 1 rep? And then is the catch position good for that 1 rep for all 15 minutes? And that's what we're going to coach then. And we've commanded the whole room. We've commanded the whole class. They should have a very, very clear sense of what they're doing at that point, because you can see there was a lot of work done on the catch position. Then we added in the setup once we went to the floor. And then once they start to build to start weight, that's when you get, you instruct them to go there, but that's when it's like more practice style. So I should say practice. And that's when you start walking around the room. As they're loading their weight, you can start to cue them, set up position a little bit fix, cues, and then you're on to catch position. Is there any cues that you can give them while they're building their weight? And then once the workout starts, they should be nailing it. All right, so it's very clear what the focus is that day is the catch position, and then the setup is added in as well, because they have to get set up every single time. All right, so that is your commanding style teaching. All right, now we're on to practice style. With this style of class, you pick 1 to 2 main things you want to focus on. So in the previous one, it was the setup and the catch, right? So with this one, they're very static positions. These would be more dynamic transitions for the practice style, because it's hard to command. It's not hard, but it's just, there's just different ways to do it. You can do the commanding style for dynamic transition if you want, and you could be looking out for the dynamic positions. Or you can go into the practice style and use your dynamic transitions, right? So this session can be done on any day with any movement. That's the beauty of it. Whereas the commanding style is probably more specific. You can definitely do all of these styles with any types of workouts. And that's where you experiment with it. And that's where you play around with it and figure out what suits you best and what suits your athletes best. But having the knowledge of knowing there's loads of different ways is what you need, right? So first coach a general warm-up, then coach some specific technical focus points, then prescribe some practice time, and then add a challenge to make it more progressive or interesting. Okay, so the framework, pick the focus point. What do I want it to do? Teach what you want to see. So if this is the focus point, I have to teach what I want to see them do. Okay. Then I got to prescribe some practice time. So we're going to work for 3 minutes, and we're going to work for 3 reps, take a break every rep for 15 seconds, something like that. Or it could be like, I just want you to do singles for the next 3 minutes. Or I want you to do set of 5, rest for 10, set of 5. I want you to do set of 10, rest as needed, complete in 4 minutes, practice for 10 minutes, whatever it might be. All right. Add a challenge to make it more progressive or interesting. And this is what the whole idea of the practice session is, that with a practice session, you want to add a challenge. All right, it makes it more interesting. So the challenge could be, can you land with your feet as close to your hands on the burpee more times than you're not? Every time you land, can you get your feet there quicker? Can you land your feet without your hands being on the floor? Can you get your hands off the floor quicker? Can you land your feet further forward of your hands? These are all just challenges that you can give people to practice, right? So it's like, here's something I want you to do. Go and practice it. Here's some time. And then when they're working and practicing, that's when you go and see and correct. Okay. So this is the framework. This is how you apply it to a movement. So I'm going to apply it to a med ball clean. For the med ball clean, I want the focus point to be speed from full extension to the bottom of the catch. So speed from full extension to the bottom of the catch. That's what we're looking for, is that turnaround, that change in direction, okay? Teach what you want to see. So what do I want to see? I want to see the extension, and then I want to see a catch. So I got to coach the extension, separate. Then I got to coach the catch, separate. And then I've got to give them, prescribed practice time. I got to practice time, 3 minutes to practice, speed from extension to catch, okay? The challenge is, can you get faster each rep? So I want you to start slow, and I want you to make sure you get your extension, and then you get a lovely catch position. Okay, that's what you're going to start with. Then you're going to progressively, over the 3 minutes, can you get faster from perfect extensions to catch? If you find that you are going really, really fast, but you're not getting your extension, or your catch is not the best, then slow it down again, try and get your extension, then into your catch, extension and catch, extension and catch. And then that's when you're seeing it correct, and you're going around saying, you missed your extension. It was really fast, but you missed your extension. Slow it down a little bit, get your extension, and then into the catch. Cool. All right, your knees are caving in the catch position. So you got really good extension, you got really good speed, but your knees are collapsing. So see, can you get your knees out now? And that's where you're seeing correcting comes in. And that's where you let them practice, but then you give them some feedback. With the feedback, you're correcting positions, you're encouraging them, you're demanding them, and you're praising it. All right, so it's like you're having a look. Extension was great, but your knees were in. All right, deadly. Let's try and find knees out with the same extension. All right, cool. Extension was great. Speed was slow. Squat was perfect. All right, now we got good extension, good catch, but we need to get more speed in between. All right, just demand a little bit more. Give them some feedback. If they're nailing it, let them know. That was class, brilliant. Can you do it again? Yes, there it is. You are killing it. Well done. So it's just trying to get a little bit of excitement in there, give them some practice, and then let them go. Then we've got a burpee. So with the burpee, pick the focus point, it's pacing. So I want them to be able to pace the burpees for this specific workout, right? Teach what you want to see. So I want to see good push-up mechanics to get off the floor. When they pull their feet under their body, I want their feet to land flat. They're going to jump up in the burpees, not step. Feet land flat, not on the toes. And then I'm going to coach them different styles of burpees. All right, so they can step down, jump up, or they can jump down, jump up in different styles. You can go plank version push-ups, you can go wormy push-ups, you can go chest first, belly first. There's different ways you can coach the burpee, right? And different ways people do the burpees. So why not just explain to them, all right, these are all the different styles we're going to see, but I want you to focus on push-up mechanics, landing feet, and you've got different styles that I want you to practice. For 3 minutes, practice sets of 5, rest as needed. So in the 3 minutes, you're going to do 5 burpees. I've given you 3 different styles of burpees to use. I want to make sure your push mechanics are good, your feet are landing flat, and then you want you to practice different styles and which one's going to suit you for today's workout. The challenge is, can you find the best rhythm that will suit you for today's workout? That's going to mean you can go non-stop for 20 burpees. So they're doing sets of 5 to figure it out. And they can time it, they can feel it, they can go, I don't like that version, I prefer this version. Do you know what? I don't use this version that often. I'm going to practice this one, see if I can get better at it. Whatever it might be, but then you're going to see correct positions again. So you're looking for the push-up mechanics, you're looking for the feet landing flat, and then have individual conversations about how long it's taken, how it feels, and give strategy advice. And that's where you're walking around, having the conversation with people, asking them how it's feeling, which one do you think you're going to go with, how fast are you going to go, how slow are you going to go, do you think you can sustain that for 20 reps, 5 rounds in this workout? Like, the last thing I want you to do is start really fast and then finish crawling off the ground. I want you to try and sustain this pace. Can you do it? Like, and it's trying to figure out, giving them time to practice and then helping them get through that, essentially. All right, that's your practice style. All right, crossover focus points. With this class style, you build the class around a movement-specific focus point. Look at the movements in the workout, decide what's common between the 2 movements, then decide on the focus point, and then cover the main points of performance that you need first, then narrow in on the main focus point. So let's watch this. Never skip over points of performance. You need to cover them in some capacity in every class, and then you can highlight one of them to make it your main focus. Or better yet, you can take one main point of performance and use it for 2 movements. This is called a crossover focus. Here's an example. As you load for the box jump, make sure you drive your feet through the floor as you jump. As you hit the bottom of the dip in the push press, think about driving your feet through the floor. In both movements, as you drive your feet into the floor, think about equal pressure from heel to toe. Avoid shifting forward into the balls of your feet and allowing your heels to come light. So your main focus today on both the box jump and the push press is driving your feet through the floor with equal pressure from heel to toe. If you like this and want to see more on how to use focus points, just hit follow. So I suggest that that's not the only thing that you mention when you're coaching the push press and the box jump that day. All right. So if you just said, all right, I want you to make sure you got equal pressure through heel and toe of your foot and you drive through the floor, there's a lot missing there. Newbies aren't going to have a clue what's going on. If they've never done a box jump or never done a push press before, they're lost, right? So you got to cover some base points of performance first and then go into that. But there's two different ways you can do the crossover focus points, and that's what I'm going to get into now, right? So the framework is this. Look at the movements in the workout. Decide what's common between the movements and make that the main focus point. So for the box jump and the push press, I'm saying drive through the floor with balance, equal pressure through the heel and toe, okay? Because what can happen is when we do a box jump or we go and do a push press, we can end up too much pressure on the toes and then we're not driving through the floor effectively, okay? So I really wanted to drive through the floor to get as much explosive up. What other points of performance need to be coached for that movement? So then I got to figure out what are the other points of performance need to be coached for the movements. So I think, did I go into it? I did. I go into it next in a second, right, for today's workout. So option 1 then. So look at the movements in the workout. Decide what's common between the two movements. What other points of performance need to be coached for movements that everybody can follow along. Newbies know what's happening. If advanced people are getting warmed up before they go into the specific focus point. And then you got two options from there. Option 1 is plan your lesson covering the crossover focus first and then layer in the other points of performance. Option 2 is plan your lesson covering the other points of performance first and then layer in your crossover focus last. So let's have a look at the two here. So for the box jump and push press workout, look at the movements in the workout. Box jump and push press. Decide what's common between the movements. So equal pressure from heel to toe and drive through the floor was what I picked. What other points of performance need to be coached for all the movements? So for the box jump, I want to go how far to stand in the box, how to load the hips, land full foot on the box, and then stand. Right, so that's covering the box jump basics, right? That's if they're doing that, they're doing a box jump. Push press, the start position, the finish position, the vertical dip, and a drive. If I cover them, then I have to push press. So now I'm going to add in the crossover focus point, which is like a performance point in this sense. So if you haven't seen the performance points, go check the performance point video. It will help you understand this. And then option 1, I'm going to coach the foot pressure first. So I'm going to get them to say, all right, shift your weight into toes. Just standing there, no barbell, no box jump. Just shift your weight into toes. Cool. Shift your weight into heels. Cool. Now find even pressure from heel to toe. There, you feel that even pressure. That's what you want. I want you to jump, but I want you to push through the floor from heel to toe. Go. Daily. Okay. So we just done some jumps pushing through the floor, not on the box, just jumping your feet off the floor a little bit. And then we're going to add in the box jump and push press performance. So this is your main focus. This is how you're going to do it. You've just done the balance in the foot. You've just done a push through the floor. Now we're going to go back and we're going to go through how far to stand in the box, load the hips, land full stand. But you're going to say, all right, everyone, we're going to stand close enough to the box side. It's more of a vertical jump than a horizontal jump. So we don't want to be horizontal. We're going to be more vertical jump. So close enough, but you don't want to be too close where you clip the box, right? So a little bit away. Deadly. We're in that position. Now you're going to load the hips. As you load the hips, you bend your knees, you send your hips back, your torso drops. But I want you to have that equal pressure from heel to toe and drive through the floor. All right, stand. Cool. Great. All right, load, stand. Perfect. Now, you're going to land, you're going to jump, and you're going to land full foot in the box. When you're in that load position, make sure you've got equal pressure from heel to toe and you drive through the floor to jump. All right, then you land full foot in the box, stand up. So cover all the steps, and then you go on to the push press. So, start position. Now, remember, start position, barbells across the shoulders, elbows slightly in front of the bar, midline engaged, and then you have that equal pressure from heel to toe. Perfect. Going to go to the finish position. Elbows straight, bars over the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Hold that position. Rib cage pulled down, abs are nice and tight, and then you've got equal pressure from heel to toe. Perfect. I'm mentioning it again. All right, vertical dip. Next stage, we want to make sure we go from the start position to a vertical dip, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. In that vertical dip, make sure you got equal pressure from heel to toe. Like, obviously I'm going through this really quick. This is going to drag out, and this is going to be more like a 20-minute piece of your class. This is your class. This is 20 minutes or so. Could be 25, depending. And you're going to go through the vertical dip nice and slow, but you're going to make sure that they focus on the crossover focus point. Now they got the crossover focus, you know, and they know that equal pressure from heel to toe and driving through the floor is the main focus on the box jump and the push press today. That's it. You can cue other things as well that you've already covered. So all the things that are here, you can still cue all of them. However, this is your main focus. This is the main crossover focus point, performance point that you're going to hammer. And you're going to make sure people have that balanced foot. Is having a balanced foot, equal pressure from heel to toe, and driving through the floor beneficial for box jumps and beneficial for push press? Is there crossover to other movements because they've got good at that? Of course there is, and yes, they are going to get better. So you hammering in on that is going to make them better in the long term. Okay? the other styles of class, you can do a class focus point. All right. So with this style, you build a whole class around one main focus. Generally, I will build this around like virtuosity or grit, and I think outside the box on how I might get them to do it. So it could be like, let's say you've got 15, 12, 9 power cleans. Oh, jeez, I did this workout about 8 years ago. 15, 12, 9 power cleans. Right? You choose the weight. All sets have to be unbroken. It's like Gwen. Gwen was the clean and jerks, I think, isn't it? Isn't it Gwen? Yeah, I think that's the word. But you choose the weight. All sets need to be unbroken. You'll rest for as long as you want between sets, and you've got 20 minutes to get the workout done. Okay? Now, that's a great workout. You've got to hold on to that bar, like even when it's burning like hell, right? So I can build my whole class around that concept of mindset, mental fortitude, resilience, as opposed to cleans. I think I said 21. Let's say it was Gwen. It's clean and jerks, I think. I could be totally wrong. I think I remember rightly. But anyway, if it's Gwen, it's 21, 15, 9, or 15, 12. No, I can't remember actually. I'm sorry, I'm making balls this. But anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to say 15, 12, 9 clean and jerks. The weight has to stay the same. You choose the weight and you'll try and lift as heavy as you can. It's going to get really, really difficult. Mindset nearly becomes more important. So you want to cover technique in the session, but I want you to build your whole focus around the mindset of it. Of, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to choose the heaviest weight possible. When it gets really hard, I'm going to fight. And this is where you think outside the box. And you're just like, how can I build this into the class that I don't want the not give up mentality, the dig deep mentality, this is going to be really difficult, I'm going to take on the biggest challenge mentality. And you can build that into your warm-up. You can be creative with your warm-up, and like you don't want to kill them in the warm-up either, right? But let's say it was bike and you set them a target of men damper 3, I'm saying concept bike, damper 3, stay above a 90 RPM. Women, damper 2, stay above 90 RPM. How long can you stay in the game without dropping below that? And that could take 10 minutes, right? But it's just getting in their head that when it gets difficult, they fight harder. They don't just give up and fall off, right? Or you could do, I've done this before, it's an easy one, it doesn't take too much out of you, and it warms up the grip, because you're going to need grip for that type of workout as well. It's plate pinch. So if you do a plate pinch where you're holding the plates and holding them by your sides in a farmer position, but you hold on to them until they fall out of your hands. And you're like, literally everybody's holding 2 10-kilo plates, maybe, let's say 2 15s for men, 2 10s for women. And they're just holding the plates until they fall out of their hands. And then when they finish and everyone's done, you ask the question, did the plate fall out of your hand or did you let it go? All right. 9 times out of 10, they'll say, yeah, I let it go because it got really difficult. Okay. And then you're saying, well, that's not what the idea is. And that's not what the idea is in this workout. When it gets difficult, you try and hang on until you can't hold on any longer. You can't hold on any longer until the bar or the plate physically falls out of your hand because you can't hold it anymore. That's the mentality you have to have going into today's workout. When the barbell gets really difficult and you're on rep 12 or 15, do not put it down because it's difficult. Keep going, hold on to it, get it completed. The only time you should put the bar down is if your reps are complete or if it physically falls out of your hands because you can't hold it anymore. All right. So it's just trying to change that mindset, and it's a different way to coach a class. Like, I'm not focused on clean and jerks. I'm focused on your mindset and mentality. All right. So it's just a different thing that we can do. Workout format. This is where you coach in the order of movements are seen in the workout, or you coach using the rep schemes in the workout. So if you've got an ascending ladder of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in the workout, you can then build your whole class around that. And you're like, on the warm-up, we're going to do a warm-up. We're going to do the rep scheme the same as the workout, except we're going to scale it back. Let's say in the workout, it's heavy overhead squats and handstand push-ups. Just made that up. All right. So instead of the overhead squats, heavy overhead squats, we're just going to do air squats or pipe overhead squats. And instead of the handstand push-ups, we're just going to do shoulder taps. I don't know, right? But we're going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And we're going to work for 3 minutes. So this is where we're going time priority rather than task priority. So if you haven't seen the warm-up video, go back and watch the warm-up video. So with the time priority, we're saying do the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If you get it finished inside the 3 minutes, start again. Okay, and then at least everyone's still working and no one's standing around waiting for anybody else. And they're going to do air squats and you're going to do shoulder taps. Now we're using the format of the workout. They can get a sense of what it's like in an ascending rep scheme, and it gives them a good feel of the workout structure. You can then bring that through and you can layer through your class if you wanted, and you can still keep the same structure. And then when they get to the workout, you can just back off on the reps a little bit, and then they can go and hit the workout. All right, coach the main movement. So when you look at a workout, there's always a main movement, right? So let's say it's biased towards one movement, right? And it's a 100 meter run, which will take, let's say, 20 seconds. And it's a 500 meter row. So 100 meter run, 500 meter row. The 100 meter run is not really the main movement of that workout. The 500 meter row is. The row is going to take 2 minutes. The run is going to take 20 seconds. So if the row is more important for the workout, that's the one you should demand that should get more of your time in your coaching. So pick the movement your athletes need most coaching on. That's another one. Even if you've got, like, let's say it's 5 power cleans, 20 bar muscle ups, and everybody in your class is unreal at bar muscle ups, don't overcoach the bar muscle up, overcoach the clean. So then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on the clean, even though it's a smaller piece of the workout today, but I know you guys need it more. And that's where you're coaching for your athletes. So that's where you use your debriefs. So if you're going back to the debrief lesson, how to coach for your athletes, this is where it becomes important as well, is if you're coaching the movement and pick the movement your athletes need most coaching on. Go deep on that and just cover one thing from the other movement. So let's say you got a chipper. Let's say the open workout was rowing, toes to bar, wall balls, power cleans, ring muscle ups, right? You got 5 complex movements in there. You're not going to be able to coach them all, right? You can coach them all with very, very basic coaching, or you can go deeper on one and cover the rest in easy movements, right? So let's say you look at the workout, like, okay, not many people are going to get to the muscles, so I'm not going to spend much time there. I'll get them warm. I'll get them to do a few swings. I'll get them to do a few straight pull-ups. So I give them their scaling options. And power cleans, I know people are going to struggle with the power cleans. They're going to be absolutely exhausted. They haven't been they're probably going to do singles, and their setup position hasn't been great the last few times I've coached power cleans. I'm going to hammer the setup position on the power clean. Wall balls, I'm going to cover effective catch, grip, hand position. On the row, I'm going to cover pacing, and on the toes to bar, I'm going to cover the progressions. All right. So now you got like very, very simple things on all the other movements, and then you're going to go deeper on the setup position of the power clean, and that's where you're going to put most of your coaching into. All right. Picking out performance points is good for this, so you can cover them all in the warm-up. So go through a general specific warm-up, and you can get them all 5 movements primed, and then you can go into performance points for all the rest of it. All right, so that's where you're coaching for the main movement. You're picking out which one they need most, coaching for your athletes, and then giving them that while covering the rest as much as you need to. All right, so there's all the different styles. Going to go into some homework now. So what stood out for you most in this session? Let me know. You're going to plan and deliver a full class using the layering style. So I want you to plan a full class using the layering style, and I want you to deliver it and see how it feels. Once you've done it, you'll figure out what works best, how you work best with it. What I've set here is not set in stone. These are all just ideas for you to have more variance in your coaching, so that you can then start to figure out what's the best way for you and what's the best way for your athletes. Okay. I also want you to plan a practice style session using the framework provided. Post the comments. So the practice style session, I just want you to follow this. I don't want you to build a full class plan out, right? I just want you to pick a focus point, teach what you see, teach what you want to see, prescribe practice time, add a challenge, and then I want you to post it to the comments for feedback, okay? So it should look like this. That's exactly what it should look like, except it's for a different movement, and you're going to make it up, not something that I've mentioned.
Never skip all.
Okay, then I want you to think of 3 movements that have a common point of performance that you could use as a crossover focus point. So if you think about the example I've used is burpee and push press. Imagine there was a third one. Let's say it was power clean. you could still use the balanced foot and driving through the floor for the power clean, right? So there are 3 movements that all have a common point of performance that I can cover and make that a crossover focus point. So what I want you to do now is I want you to think of 3 movements that will have a common point of performance that you can use across our focus point. It's a very, very simple exercise. Think of 3 movements, think of one common point of performance. That's it. Post in the comments for feedback. And then you can start implementing all of these variations into your classes, trying them all out. Like, the biggest thing about coaching is experimenting with different styles. The more you experiment, the more interesting it can get. And yes, if you experiment, it can fail. It can fall flat on its face and be terrible, but that is okay, because do you know what? Your athletes, they won't remember after they do the workout. After they do the workout, they're like, yeah, cool, that workout was hard. They're not gonna remember what you did in the class beforehand. They're not gonna remember that was shit, but they're gonna be like, that workout was daily, I'm coming by tomorrow. Because the classes are interesting, the classes are different. Even if it's shit, it's still different, and they can still be excited about it. All right, so don't be afraid to experiment with your classes and try all these different styles and more. Make them up yourself. All right, enjoy.